All right, guys, Lysandra gets to read to me today and do the running record. One student will be doing a running record with myself. That's how we keep up on how well they're performing. Lysandra, you're going to read Melly at the Vet. Running record is based on a book that we read the day before together. And then the student goes through and reads, and I keep track of any mistakes that they may make.
Grade to the vet.
After they're finished reading, I then ask them questions about it. So it's a comprehension questions to see how well they understood the book.
The vet.
If they say a word correctly, I put a check mark. If they say the word the wrong way, I write down the way they say the word. And then if they repeat, I mark that they repeat it. And the other students will go onto the carpet and read quietly to themselves. And the books they're reading quietly are books that they've read before. So they're familiar with them. It's at their level. So they should be able to read through them without any difficulty. Well, it's all part of the LLI system that we use, Leveled Literacy Intervention. So it's just all the books are based on certain levels. And we know based on the student, we find out what level they're at, and then we know which books would be appropriate for them.
We learn reading skills, and then we can use it in our class whenever we need it.
All right, today we are going to talk about adding ED to words. First lesson that you saw, we were doing some word work. And the reason why we do word work each day is to help the kids with those words that they're going to see in the story. And we're also teaching them how to read some unfamiliar words, and a lot of times we're teaching them how to break words apart so they can figure those words out when they are reading on their own. Our first one we're going to talk about is when ED just makes a D sound. Played.
Played.
It's just making what sound at the end?
A D. Yeah.
Looked. We have a T sound with the word looked. And we have the ED sound with the word planted.
Goldie and the Three Bears.
I would say every 10 lessons, we introduce the students to a classic tale.
This soup is too hot. This soup is too cold. This soup is just right.
I love the way you stretch those words that are in bold print, how you're stretching them out and saying them a little bit louder. And in the beginning, it's a narrative, a story that they read, and we do a guided reading lesson with them. And then after we do a guided reading lesson and we've done a running record with one student, then the next day we introduce the Reader's Theater. And the Reader's Theater is really a good way for them to practice their fluency, to really show them that we want their reading to sound like they're talking.
Goldie was sleepy and wanted a nap. She saw 3 beds in the bedroom.
And a lot of times that's when you really see a lot of that good fluency, because I think they feel more relaxed, they're playing a part.
It's The Unwanteds, and it's about these 2 kids go into this fantasy world and I think save the world and the animals there.
We have to make it a sentence. It has to start off with Sam.
Sam.
Tell me the sentence first, Jaden, before you write it. Sam. So the first part that we did was the writing about reading. So every other day we write about the book that we read the previous day. Sam made a rocket ship on the card. Good job, Amaya. And then we talk about it, and they come up with sentences that they want to write about. We're really practicing on the conventions of writing, as well as you would notice in our lesson today that they're working on the spelling. So even though it wasn't spelled correctly, they were listening to the parts of the words that they know and using that in their writing. Same thing we do with our reading. Writing and reading goes together. So tonight we're going to take home Papa's Birthday, the story that we read today, okay? The take-home book is a piece of our program, our LLI program that we give to the parents, and those are books that the kids get to take home and keep at home. It's the book that we did the previous day, so they've read it twice with me. It goes home, and they get to keep it at home for good. So they can build up their reading library at home with their parents.
Special occasions we play games to help us get better at reading.
The new book
we're going to look at today is called Williams Windmills. Whenever we read a new book, you know what a windmill is? What is it, Larissa? Do you know? We introduce it and we look at all the parts of the book and we talk about whether it's fiction or nonfiction. It spins around in the wind. And we talk about the genre of the book so the students get familiar with identifying the different features in a book. Do you think this book's going to be fiction or nonfiction? And it's very important, especially in nonfiction, there's different text features they're not as familiar with for them to be able to recognize those text features, and it helps them with their comprehension as well. What's this on page 2 and 3? What do you have?
A map of Africa?
A map of Africa. So do nonfiction books have maps in them?
Yeah.
Yes.
When I first came here, we started on easy books, and then we started getting to hard books, and now we're on chapter books.